I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I pledge allegiance to the Christian flag and to the Savior for whose kingdom it stands, one brotherhood uniting all Christians everywhere, in service and in love. I pledge allegiance to the Bible, God's holy word. I will make it a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path, that I might not sin against God.
We got it.
Hello and welcome back to the Gap Podcast. I'm your host, Dennis Shields, and our co-host, Josh Knott, is back with us.
Hello.
And today we are talking about independence.
Our freedom.
And kind of like how we gained that freedom. Now, a lot of you that study Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, you history buffs out there, you'll know that there was... Like, Josh, tell us, like, you probably did a little bit of research on it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there was a lot of founding fathers, right?
Yeah.
And, you know,
we've back in 1700s, 1600s.
Yeah. So, like, 1770, what, 74, 75, something like that.
I'm bad with history.
I'm not, we're not going to be really... To be honest with you, we're not going to be really good with dates here. We know that it happened around 1774, 73, somewhere in there when the Continental Congress got together.
Yeah.
And these men were considered traitors.
So we can look it up here while you're talking.
Yeah. These men were considered traitors to the crown or England. One of the founding fathers said, if it was John Hancock that said, if we hang together.
September 17th, 1787.
So 1787 was when we declared the Constitution. 1776 would have been the Declaration of Independence. And then, so it was like several years later that we actually got our Constitution written. Yeah. But I think it was like somewhere around 1773, 74, these men that of God got together and they said that, you know what, we're not going to have King John.
Yeah. We're going to have something that's to hold our rights and
we're not going to be
our freedoms.
Right. We're not going to be upheld by a foreign power.
Yeah.
We are going to free ourselves from that rule, that tyrannical rule. And that's why we celebrate 4th of July. Or independence.
Our independence
right.
From Britain.
From Great Britain, right?
I'm not.
Yeah, from Great Britain.
I got D's in history, I'm sorry.
It wasn't John, who was it? King George, sorry. But we declared our independence, and in 1776 they penned the Declaration of Independence and sent it over to Britain, and basically said, "We're not doing this anymore, guys.
This is what we're doing."
And so then, obviously, that started the Revolutionary War, and we had to fight for it. And so, freedom doesn't come free. You hear that a lot, and obviously, our independence didn't come for free.
No, not at all.
No.
Lots of bloodshed, lots of death,
but we had
anger.
righteous men of God that, even though, I mean, a lot of people, you hear a lot about January 6th, all this insurrection and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that would have been an insurrection against the crown of Britain at that time. That would have been considered an insurrection against them.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter was, the treatment that they gave us as an American colony was
completely unfair.
Yeah.
The taxation without representation. They would just send troops in if they didn't like the way somebody was doing their business. They would just come in and take your business and put you in debtor's prison or whatever. There was so many terrible things that the British the British crown would do to the American colonies. And that's what made it to the point where the American colonies just said, and these men that penned the Declaration of Independence, they just said, enough.
Yeah.
Enough's enough. So, so what do you think? What do you feel like, Josh? We grew up in a free country here in America. So what do you like today? What does that mean to you as an American citizen, knowing that we grew up in a free country because of what these men did in that time frame?
We have the freedom of a lot of different things. I mean, this is a biblical church-related podcast. We have the freedom of religion.
Right, absolutely.
Here's the double-edged sword, the both sides of the coin to everything. Everybody has their freedom of religion.
Right.
I'm a Christian.
Right, we're Christians. Mm-hmm.
But that's my religion. So a lot of other people, they have a freedom to be Catholic,
Muslims.
Muslim, trying to not go that direction.
Yeah,
but
Hindus.
Hindu.
Yeah.
Baptist. I mean,
right.
There's a lot of different religions, but we can't get mad at somebody else for exercising their freedoms either. You see what I mean?
And even though, like you said, even though there are freedoms to celebrate those other cultures and religions, because that's one of our freedoms. One of our freedoms that we were granted because we declared independence.
Yes.
So the thing of it is, though, is like a lot of people will sit there and say, like, "Oh, America wasn't founded on Christian principles," and you know what? I have to say hogwash.
Yeah.
Out of the founders and the signers of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of this country, most of them were Christian men.
Yeah. Well, and people say that, but that's also possibly the same people that want our dollar bill to be changed.
Right.
In God we trust. Well, why was God put on there? Capital G, God.
Yeah.
In God we trust, because it was developed and it was formed on godly principles.
Yeah. Judeo-Christian principles.
Yeah.
If you look at even our laws, our first established constitutional laws and things like that, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, those things were set aside because those are things that are kind of biblical principles. Mm-hmm. And then dealing even in the legal system, some of our laws that they were dealing with, they followed like kind of along the Ten Commandments and the way that God or Christ even called people to deal with sinners. Well, not sinners, criminals.
Criminals. Yeah.
The Old Testament would have stoned people for
cut your hand off,
for murder, for rape.
Yes.
Some countries that follow Muslim rights still do things like cut your hands off and things like, not to be graphic, but literally. No. But the Bible, from the Jewish principle and from the early Christian principle, they stoned people to death that were
in the middle of the town.
Yeah.
It wasn't a private stoning.
Right.
You were hung up on a light pole.
Yeah.
And people would pass by and throw rocks at you.
Right.
Until you
died. Or
died.
they would just take you out in the back lot and cast stones at you until you died.
Hang you, behead you.
And this was murder. This was adultery. Our legal system is very lenient compared to what.
Oh, yeah.
But yet the principles are still there.
Yes.
Early on in this country,
you're still punished for those crimes.
Right. Early on in this country, we had death penalties in all the colonies, and then when we eventually started states, we had the death penalty in most states. If you committed murder, you were put into a court once they set up the judicial branch. once you were sent to court and you were tried by a group of your peers, where the Bible even says, you know, if you know,
A jury.
two or more witnesses saw you committing adultery or committing murder, they were your witnesses against you.
Yeah.
And that's where in our legal system we get that we have a jury of your peers.
Yeah.
It's not a ruler or a leader that judges you and says you're dead, like the old people, like the old.
We have a jury.
We have a jury that is our peers that listen to your case,
And then they decide as a group,
right? So
is there enough evidence or not to.
So there's evidence of how we're following Christian and judicial in our judicial principles. So, I mean, it's really cool to me.
even Jesus' crucifixion
right,
wasn't one person. He asked the crowd.
right. I mean,
know? What has this man done?
Pilate did that. Pilate,
Yes.
here's the thing. People,
I mean, how much further back can we go?
right. They think Pilate was the bad guy, and to some degree he was. He wasn't a good person.
Yeah.
But even
He was in a position
even
to
in,
do a job.
in his
and he
position,
didn't want to.
he was like, no.
Yeah.
What did he do? He didn't do anything, so I'm not judging him.
Yeah.
So the Sanhedrin did it.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I mean, Pilate just said, okay, whatever they
decide,
they decided,
I'll back it up.
Right. So we follow, in this country, we follow Judeo-Christian principles with our laws. So people that sit there and say, oh, well, our country's not founded on Judeo-Christian principles. Come on, people. If you just look at the history of it. And, okay, then as far as some of our characteristics of some of our founding fathers, okay, Noah Webster. Everybody know Noah Webster? He wrote the dictionary.
Webster's Dictionary.
Webster's Dictionary, okay? He could literally quote the scriptures, chapter and verse, from front to back. He was a very strong, devout Christian man.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you had Thomas Jefferson. He ended up printing his own version of the Bible eventually.
Yeah.
But he still believed in the fundamentals from the gospel.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? His fundamentals were there, even though some
He
of
took it and wrote his version of it, but it's
Right.
still he got the
It was his
foundation
interpretation.
from his interpretation.
Right.
Wait a minute, don't we have that already in the Bible? We have NIV, we have King James.
We do. We do.
It's different interpretations.
His thing is, though, the only thing that Thomas Jefferson did a no-no with is he took away from the Bible.
Yeah.
Because the Bible says itself that you're not to add to or take away from. Thomas Jefferson kind of took away from the Bible and some things and took liberties on some things. And so he changed the Bible basically. So you can't do that.
Yeah.
Because that's not, but he was still, for the most part, a Christian man. He believed in the same things that we do as Christians.
Yeah.
He believed in the birth, the death, the resurrection of Jesus Christ, the Trinity. He believed in those things. Let me think. I was trying to think of some other people that I knew, some of their backgrounds. There's Adams. Adams was a very strong Christian person.
John Adams.
John Adams, and then his son John Quincy Adams. They were both Christian people, and then of course you look at the guy that they I should know this, the guy that they did the musical with from Disney. You know what I'm talking
I think
about.
so yeah.
Why is my mind?
I can't think of it.
Sorry, folks. It's been kind of a long week.
It's been a long couple weeks.
But you guys know who I'm talking about. He helped build our legal and financial system, and he was even a Christian man.
Yeah.
So there's just, these people that say that they don't know what they're talking about.
You know, you were talking about the jury of ones is actually the Sixth Amendment. It assures the right to a speedy trial by a jury of one's peers, to be informed of the crimes with which one is charged and to confront the witnesses brought forward by the government. To amendment also provides the accused the right to compel testimony from witness as well as the right to legal representation. So right there, Sixth Amendment,
Right.
you get a jury. The seventh one, you get a speedy trial.
Right. Now,
Oh no, I was wrong on that. Sorry.
what I was, and I'm going to kind of shift this a little bit.
Yep.
What I was talking to you before we started filming. This is where we want to kind of give you hope. In like what's going on, where God's hand is, because like I was sharing with Josh before we started filming, you can sit and look at all the bad things that are going on in this country, and there's a lot of them. Okay. But let me point out some miracles to you that happened just this last week. Okay. Now, those of you that you might disagree with our stance on Roe versus Wade, and we want to just make it up front with you. We're Christians. We believe in life. And we're not going to back down from the fact that we believe in life. So I'm sorry if that may offend some of you. I hope not, but I hope if you're a believer and you're a Christian that you believe that life is important. But here's the thing. That's a miracle.
Mm-hmm.
I never thought it happened. Believe it or not, Josh, I found this out just this week because I really never paid attention to it much.
What's that?
In 1973, Roe versus Wade was passed. What's 1973? Is when I was born.
Your birthday? Or your...
I was born in 1973. I never thought in my lifetime that Roe versus Wade would ever be turned over.
Yeah.
And here it is.
Yeah.
That's a miracle. Why is it a miracle? It's the same reason why all the other things that the Supreme Court this last week basically ruled on,
Yeah.
they upheld the law of the land.
Yeah.
They also upheld righteousness
Yeah.
in the eyes of God. It's not that here's the thing. Things aren't going to really change all that much for states and things like that still want to do
Yeah.
abortion.
Yeah. They're
Okay.
leaving it up to the states, basically.
But it passes it back to the states, and thank the Lord, at least 22 states as of Friday abolished abortion in their states. And there's four more. There was four more on the docket to change it this week as you're going to be viewing this episode. There's four more states that are going to do it. What that tells me, and this is for people that believe in our Christian principles.
Yeah.
What that tells me is that this stuff that we've been fed for over 4 decades now, that this country's okay with all that.
Yeah.
Hogwash.
Yeah.
Hogwash. That's not true.
Yeah.
I bet you probably 70-80% of American people with Christian principles are thankful and rejoicing today that ruling was overturned.
Overturned. Yeah.
Because for the conservative Christian side of everybody, we were the ones that got slammed for it. We were the ones that they attacked for all that.
Mm-hmm.
For 4 decades. They attacked us for that.
Yeah.
So here's what this is getting back to the point of hope. Hope in the things that you can see.
Yeah.
Okay? Because, God always tells you to hope in the things you can't see. But guess what? You can have hope in the things that you can see.
Things being done.
This country is not as bad as you think it is. And what the media and what the politicians and things want to try to make it out to be.
Yeah.
It's not. There are good people in this country.
Mm-hmm.
There are bad people in this country.
There's both.
But
And there's good people that do bad things.
right. But God is
And just the opposite.
here's the thing. When I see things like that,
Mm-hmm.
I rejoice because I know God has not taken his hand off of America.
Yeah.
Even though we're not a big deal in the end time prophecy in the Bible and
Mm-hmm.
book of Revelations, we're still God hasn't taken his hands off of us.
Yeah.
We haven't messed up that much that God's saying, yep, America's done.
Yeah.
Now, if we turn our backs on Israel, then we're in trouble. Because God said, I will bless those who bless you and I will curse those who curse you.
Yeah.
So we can't, people, church, we've got to continue to pray for Israel, to support that our country continues to support Israel. That's we've got to.
Yeah.
Because if we turn our backs on them, nope, God's hand comes off. So, Josh, I know I get a little windy.
Yeah, you're fine.
Tell us about the giveaway.
The giveaway. We are.
This is our finale. This is our finale for this season.
Got go off camera a little bit. We have a nice fold-out chair,
It's American flag.
American
isn't it?
flag.
Yeah, you'd have to open it.
Well, we're not going to give
we're
the
not
name
gonna
because they're
open it.
not a sponsor, but
Right. Yeah. Right. We can't do that. They're not a
Never mind.
sponsor.
But it is a American flag fold-out chair that we will be giving away over the month of July. Isn't that what we decided?
Well, I think what we're going to do is we're going to actually do it based on subscriptions or
Yeah,
subscriptions.
Through the month of July, right?
Through the rest of this month.
So if you subscribe to the channel, like, comment, share, but mainly subscribe. That's what we're
Yes.
looking for. We're looking for subscribers. So if you subscribe, you will be entered to win this chair.
Right, and if you're on if you're on the Friends of the Gap podcast Facebook group, there's 58 of you, but I have only 9 subscribers to our YouTube channel, and so I'm asking you to if you love watching our content and the fact that we're trying to share the gospel and share the love of Jesus with people, please subscribe, because here's the thing, what subscriptions and sharing and likes and all that does, it helps with the algorithm on YouTube and on Rumble. The more likes and shares and subscribers we get, the more our videos make it out to a broader audience.
Yeah. There's
And-
more of a chance for it to be seen by somebody.
Right.
Without having to actually go and look for it.
But I will say this: thank you guys for that do watch us. Believe it or not, if you type in the Gap Podcast, there are a few other similar
Similar ones.
videos. There's the I can't think right now. There's a couple different Gap related podcasts, but because of you, our viewers, ours is actually on the top of that search engine.
The Gap.
Yeah, right. And there's other, like I said, there's other Gap type.
There's the Gap band.
Right. And yeah, I mean, there's other things that come up.
Yeah.
But as far as our podcast, you guys have made it to where, like, when you type it in, we're number 1. Like, ours pops up immediately on the Gap Podcast page search on YouTube. So, in order to reach a broader audience, it helps us if you subscribe and you like and share our channel and our videos.
Yeah, there's a couple of others here, but yeah, you're right. Ours is Ours comes up first. We have GAP with periods in between.
Right, right.
Closing the Gap.
Closing the
I'm
gap.
advertising for other people.
right.
Let's subscribe to ours. I don't know what content they have.
But literally, that's pretty neat that ours comes up from the
Yeah.
search first.
Yeah.
And you guys have made that possible. So to continue to make that possible, we need you guys to subscribe and to like and share with our videos with everybody that you can, all your friends. And there's 58 of you, and if 58 of you would just reach out to one friend, and then that one friend,
I mean, one person, we're at 116.
yeah, we're at 116 people. So you'll help us to share the gospel.
Help us help you,
Right.
basically.
And you'll help us share the gospel.
Yep.
That's the big key. We want to share the gospel and the good news with people, and so you can be a part of helping us share the good news
Yeah.
through our content, between me and Josh, and between people that we have on as guests,
Other guests and
and sharing their story of how God's amazing purpose for their life has changed them and helped change others. It's just an awesome way for you guys to be involved in a ministry. And all you have to do is click a button.
Yeah.
And so if you would please pray about that and pray that, you'll join. And if you have more friends, bring them onto the Friends of the Gap podcast Facebook group page. I was really shocked that we had 58 people,
58 people.
following that. And
Yeah.
you guys get the content. Just subscribe to the channel.
Yeah. Hit the
And-
subscribe button.
And what
you
we'll
get
do,
entered in to win the chair.
you'll be entered in, and then we'll pick a name. What we'll do is we'll come on. This is the finale for this season.
Yeah.
We're going to take a break through the month of July,
Yeah.
and then we're going to come back in August and start filming content, and then September 1st or sometime around
That first
September
Wednesday of
1st,
September.
the first Wednesday in September, we will be back, and we will be bringing you more content. And we've got a lot of neat things that we're going to do next season, and we're going to talk about some tough subjects.
Yep.
I'm still working on contacting some people because we talked about some different things we want to discuss, and we want to have some professional people that deal with these types of subjects.
Deal with those topics from a professional
from
standpoint.
a professional standpoint, but a Christian professional standpoint.
Yes.
These are Christian counselors that we want to help with some of these topics. There's going to be some fun stuff. We are not going to be able to actually videotape in the Ark Encounter. I did get confirmation about that, but we are probably going to go anyway.
We might try.
And we're gonna
Still
try to
go,
take
see what
some-
we can do.
We're going to take some still photography and maybe some short videos on the outside of the Ark so that we can show you how massive this thing is. And then we'll sit down and maybe have a discussion like in our studio. And then we'll filter some of those pictures and some of that thing in from the Ark Encounter.
from there. Yeah.
It just won't be as dynamic as what it was trying to do.
Yeah.
But I think we can still get some things done. And we're going to do another 12 episodes for season 2. And then,
We have 11 minutes to go live.
right, we're going to go live tonight too. So
Sunday. This is Sunday. We're going to go live
right.
in 11 minutes.
So
not Wednesday
please-
when you see this.
So please like, share, subscribe, and do this for us, okay? And we'll kind of maybe throw this into our decision. Comment,
Who is
I lo-
the better host?
Comment, I love Jesus.
If you comment Josh, you get 2 votes. If you comment Dave- Sorry. Go ahead.
Comment, I love Jesus, and I like the Gap podcast.
Yep.
You don't have to love the Gap podcast. If you do, that's fine too. I like or love, but love Jesus first, then the Gap podcast. If you'll comment that, maybe that'll help our choice in who gets this nice little chair. So please do those things for us. We are so excited about what God has been doing through this podcast. some of the things that have happened this season has just really blown my mind of how God has worked. And I look forward to us being able to work together next season and bringing you more content.
Yep.
And we'll just see where God takes us on this amazing journey to find God's amazing purpose for our lives.
Yep.
Thank you for joining us on the Gap Podcast. And until next time, God bless.
See you guys.